Hello and welcome to this Q&A session with Roseman University's College of Pharmacy and Nevada State Career Services. This video is part of our Career Video Library project, so after this video, feel free to check out some of the other content we've put together here, and make sure to check back throughout the semester as we add new videos over time. My name is Zach. I am the Coordinator of Employer Relations here at NSC, and I'm joined today by Dustin from Roseman University College of Pharmacy, and he's going to talk a little bit about the programs that they have, admission requirements, and things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and have him introduce himself, and I will jump right into the questions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Christian Grant. I am an associate professor of pharmacy practice at Roseman University College of Pharmacy, also the assistant director of admissions and student affairs. We are a two-campus university for the College of Pharmacy, and I'm actually based out of our Utah campus, but I do service both campuses. So happy to be here today.
Awesome, thank you so much. So can you tell us a little bit about Roseman University and the mission of the university? I know you said a little bit about how there's two campuses, but maybe you could expand on that part as well a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So Roseman was founded in 1999 in Henderson, Nevada, so one of the suburbs in the greater Las Vegas area. And it was founded by three pharmacists. Our founders were all pharmacists, and they really wanted to set a new standard for healthcare education. So our entire education model is built around this idea of active learning, team-based learning, and it founds what we call our 6-point mastery learning model, which we can talk a little bit about later. But whenever I'm talking about high standards, I mean that when you are being serviced or cared for by a graduate of Roseman University College of Pharmacy or nursing or dental, you're not only being cared for by someone that passed their board exams, but someone who has achieved 90% or higher on everything they did during their education. So our students pass at a very high standard. And so this excellence allows us to constantly pursue our mission. And our mission is really to advance the wellness and health of the communities we serve in Nevada and Utah. And we do this through not only educating future healthcare providers, but also through the direct patient care we provide as a university. And since 1999, when we were founded, we have expanded to other disciplines, including nursing, dentistry, and soon College of Medicine. And we've expanded from Henderson now to South Jordan, Utah, and as well to our Summerlin, Nevada campus. So we've grown.
Awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about how you came to work at Roseman University and about the path that you took to get to your current career?
Yeah, certainly. So I was in pharmacy school way back on the East Coast in North Carolina, not really sure which direction I wanted to go into until I was sitting in the middle of the library. Professor was teaching me cardiology. She was talking about taking care of patients. She was so smart and a faculty member. And I remember it felt like angels came down from above and I heard the choir and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be her. And I had this moment of like, that is what I want to do. I want to be a faculty member. And so from that point, I knew that I was going to be a pharmacist that pursued postgraduate training. So I'm a residency trained pharmacist. So after graduating, I did my first year of residency at Indiana University Health, and then my second year of residency at the University of Texas, where I became an internal medicine specialist, so working inside of the hospital. And then after I finished residency, I knew I wanted to be a faculty member, knew I wanted to go into academia. So I started with Roseman back in 2014, and I've been here ever since and loving it. Love teaching, love working with students to help them find their path. And now I work in admissions where I can do that all the way starting in high school. So it's a lot of fun.
Great, thank you. So can you talk a little bit about the pharmacy program at Roseman University and what makes it unique?
Yeah, certainly. So let me do a quick screen share just to facilitate us kind of talking about this a little bit. So that is. So our College of Pharmacy program, we are unique probably in the largest way and a way that attracts a lot of people is that we are a 3-year Doctor of Pharmacy program. So most colleges of pharmacy are 4 years, but we've proven since 1999 that our graduates, our alumni are successful in the field doing it in 3 years. And our teaching model lets us do that. So we've talked about the 6-point mastery learning model. So this is what it looks like. And I'll touch base on just a few of the points for time purposes, but it'll highlight what makes us really unique. So the first part that I really want to talk about is our block curriculum. So when you're with us, you're going to take one class at a time. In undergraduate, you may be taking 3, 4, 5 classes, dividing your time, you're studying, and you feel like you're really having to give a little bit here and a little bit there. But with us, we want you to be excellent at what you're doing. We want you to master that material. So you take one class with us at a time so it gets your full attention. Our classes are 8 to 3. It allows for more direct contact hours with your faculty. So you're able to work more closely with them to gain that higher understanding. And even though our classes are super long, like 8 to 3 throughout the day, we do, of course, have natural breaks for like bathroom and lunch and stuff like that. But that long period also encourages faculty to blend new and more innovative teaching methods into our class time. And so that really blends into another piece of our learning model, which is active and collaborative learning. So in our classroom, us as faculty, we do more than just lecture. We actually help facilitate your understanding. So in class with me, you may learn about acute renal failure for like an hour, and then we'll take a short break, but then I pull you back together and I have you get into teams to work collaboratively to solve a complex renal failure case. And so you're going to help put together those advanced concepts that we just taught to see if you actually understand them. And you can bounce ideas off with your teammates. And this represents what healthcare is like in the real world. It is very collaborative. And in another class, I may give you 2 different articles after we've learned about how to evaluate research literature. And I'll have you debate these 2 articles on how best to treat diabetes. So you learn something and then you put it into practice. And this is really facilitated by another part of our learning model, which is our classroom as a teacher. So our classroom itself is actually a hexagon, very much like what we see on the screen. And the faculty are at the center of the hexagon with TV screens all around you. It kind of looks like a spaceship, I kind of joke, where you have these TV screens around you. But the hexagon shape, it allows faculty and students to be in closer proximity. So I can tell and feel when the class is not understanding something, or if there's a lot of chatter, I'm like, oh, I think I maybe said something and it's not very clear. So it does allow us to break down a lot of those barriers of a traditional lecture style classroom where students can be, 40, 50 rows back in the back, and I'm not sure if they're understanding what's going on. And then our classroom has rooms all around it, doors all around the outside. And those are our breakout rooms with televisions so that students can break into their teams, go in there, share their screen. I can share from the main classroom to them. And it allows, again, exchanging of information and learning in these teams to help facilitate the learning process. And then the last part I'm just going to touch on for today is our early experiential learning. So no matter where you go to pharmacy school, a part of learning is going to be out there real world practice. Some pharmacy schools, you never step foot in a pharmacy until your 3rd or 4th year. But we value not only learning in the classroom, but putting it into practice, getting hands-on experience. So we actually have our students doing that within the 1st year of school. In fact, they start school in August and they'll start doing this in October, and it'll continue all the way until they graduate. So those are a couple things that make us really unique that we're quite proud of.
Thank you. That does sound like a great, unique approach. I wish they brought that into other fields. I like the little breakout rooms, and you were thinking about breakout rooms before any of us knew what breakout rooms were. In 2020. Now we're all a little too familiar with them, I think. So what are the admission requirements for the College of Pharmacy at Roseman University?
Yeah, I have another slide for this as well to kind of help facilitate so people can see it. So in terms of the admissions requirements, one of the biggest questions I get is, do I have to have a bachelor's degree? You don't, absolutely. You do not have to have a bachelor's degree to come to Roseman. It is encouraged if for for our students to get it, but it's not a requirement. We do think that if you get that bachelor's degree, get a little bit more experience, that it does make you more prepared for this doctoral level healthcare degree, but it's not a requirement. So what are the prerequisites you have to complete? So there's general chemistry 1 and 2, organic chemistry 1 and 2, calculus, microbiology, anatomy and physiology, English composition or some sort of writing course, and then a speech or communication course. So those are the courses that are required. You have to get a C or better in the math and science courses. And then for your English and speech, you have to get a B or better. Now, once you have those completed, you don't have to have all of those completed to actually apply for pharmacy school. So to apply for pharmacy school, you have to have 5 of the 8 math and sciences. Once you have those complete, you are ready to apply. Now, if you apply, get interviewed, and are accepted, you still are going to have to finish those remaining courses that you have left. But you can at least get a head start with having those 5 of the 8 completed. Now, to be eligible, it also is recommended that you have an overall GPA of 2.8 or higher. That is our preferred GPA and where you're going to be in the most competitive range. If you're less than 2.8, that doesn't mean that you can't apply. You're just not going to be in the most competitive range of applicants that we see. You do have to also complete 60 semester hours in order to apply as well. And this is really so you have enough of an academic history that we can appropriately look at your application and determine that you're ready, because we really just want you to be ready for this next step in your career. And then last line, like I said, bachelor's degree is not required. We also do not require the PCAT or the pharmacy admissions test. But if you have those, you can certainly share them with us.
Awesome. So if students are hearing this and they're ready to apply, they want to get started, how can they prepare for pharmacy school and for the application process right now? And how can they make themselves a more competitive applicant?
Certainly. So I think the first place to start is with PharmCAS. And for those of you that aren't familiar, PharmCAS is the centralized application service for pharmacy schools. So it's kind of a library that builds your application all together for you. So you essentially send everything to PharmCAS. Your transcripts, you enter in your courses as well, your learning experience, your work experience, everything really goes into PharmCAS. So getting familiar with it is a great first step. And PharmCAS has a lot of other helpful tools, including a school directory that breaks out a lot of the facts about various pharmacy schools, and you can actually compare pharmacy schools as well. So I think it's a great place to start. Another good thing about PharmCAS is that if you really sit back and think about it, when you apply to pharmacy school, you essentially at the very beginning phase, unless you've met someone at a career fair or if you've met someone through an online Zoom platform, you are an application. You are kind of this document, and that's how you're representing yourself. So understanding what goes into it is a great place to start to say, how am I constructing my narrative? How am I thinking about who I am? So I wanted to break it down and show you there are 4 essential components to the PharmCAS application. Some things you don't have control over building up, and others you do. So your personal information, that's going to be your demographics, your contact info, not much to say there. Your academic history is where you're going to have your transcripts, as well as a standardized test like the PCAT if you chose to take it. And I can't emphasize enough that it is important that you try to do well in your academics. We at Roseman do look at applicants holistically. So we take a look at your academics, but take it into context. So let's say that you are an applicant that has a 2.7 GPA, and you're discouraged that you're not above that 2.8 in the more competitive kind of area. But we take a look at your application and we see that the past 4 or 5 semesters, you've actually gotten above a 3.5. So we see that you have grown and maybe learned to be a better student, and you may be geared more towards success. So that's kind of an example of how we don't just look at you as that strict 2.7. We look at you and try to put it into context. So keep that in mind when you're taking courses that maybe if you did poorly, maybe you get the opportunity to take it again to show that you can succeed in it. Maybe you take more advanced coursework to say, oh, years ago, I didn't do so great in organic chemistry, but I've taken more advanced classes and done very well. I've grown as a student. I've learned how to study. I've learned how to succeed. So doing those things is a great way to kind of build up your academics. Now, your supporting information is where things like your work experience, your leadership, your pharmacy technician license would go, as well as your personal statement. So here, this is where you can think about building your application as well. So if there's a club in your university or college that you're attending, you could think about joining that club. Maybe even think about taking a leadership position, like could you be secretary or vice president? Or maybe telling the president, hey, there's an event that I would like to help put together. Can I chair a small committee to get this together? These things are really great to show how passionate you are about joining the profession, or to show your leadership skills or grow your leadership skills. I think that's a great place as well. Another good recommendation that I always give for applications, particularly the personal statement, is to proofread. If you think you've proofread enough, give it to a friend and let them proofread it for you. I think it's really important to make sure what you're presenting is professional. And so having it proofread is very important. And then last, the program materials. This is stuff that's specific for individual schools and may vary. For us, we're just going to ask you a few supplemental essay questions to get to know you a little bit more and why you're choosing Roseman University. So those are just some examples of things to think about.
Great, thank you. And I know that you mentioned proofreading, having people look at your personal statement. One great place you can do that is at the Career Services Center. So please reach out to us. I'm actually now handling all grad school appointments, so you'll be meeting with me if you make an appointment. And I would love to help you with any aspect of applying to grad school. Any questions you might have, we are here to help. So
I think that's tremendous. And another thing, as your application gets submitted and you move to that next phase of interviewing, I would recommend, even if you feel really confident, think about contacting an advisor to do like a mini mock interview, because an outsider is going to see things that you don't see about yourself. You can even ask a family member or someone in the community, a friend, to just conduct a formal mock interview where you introduce yourself, they introduce themselves, and really put you in that headspace and give you honest feedback about how you did.
Great recommendation, and I would also add, we also do mock interviews. I gotta plug the Career Services Center, but we also do those. So if you'd like to have someone help you out with that, we're also here for that as well. So I know this is a common question. If students want to become pharmacists and they haven't chosen a major yet, or they're maybe thinking about switching a major, what would you recommend they major in as undergraduates to prepare for pharmacy school?
Certainly. So in terms of what you should major in, there is no set, cookbook to do it. But if I had to give a recommendation of what I think you should do, I would say something in the sciences is going to set you up for the most success, because you want to make sure you can get through the rigor of understanding the sciences and even advanced level science classes to really translate into this advanced healthcare degree. So something like chemistry, biological sciences, pharm science, if you have that as well. But don't be discouraged if that's not your career path. Two of my best friends now are my former students. Both of them were high school teachers and decided on a career change. And all they did is they took the prerequisite courses. Those are the courses we know that you need in order to succeed in our program. So we lay those out for you, for those of you that choose a different path. So if you have a degree in anthropology or dance, can you come to pharmacy school? Absolutely. You just need to get those prerequisite courses. But if you're starting from the beginning and you want to choose a degree that you plan to complete, that'll set you up for success, I would say the sciences is a way to go.
Awesome. I love asking the major question, because I think a lot of students think that their major might limit them in some way. And I find that everybody I ask, any employer I ask, it's not as important as students think it is, and it doesn't box you in as much as you might think. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So when do applications open, and when is the deadline to apply? How does the schedule for that work?
Certainly. So I made a little graphic for us so we can kind of see. So if you are planning to start pharmacy school with us, it would be in August. So that process actually begins, well, long before then. It takes, a lot of hard work and years of coursework to come in, but really the application opens the year before in July. So July, the application will open. About September to October, our interviews will start, and they'll continue through the rest of the year, essentially until potentially that following April or May. December to February, I add this in here. This is called the fall academic update period. And so this is where if you have taken any additional courses during the fall, you can go back into PharmCast and update those grades that you have now gotten in December so that we can see those grades as well. February 1 is our typical priority deadline to get your initial application in, and it is our first hard push. And then April to June is where you can do that spring academic update. So for those courses that you've gotten grades for, maybe in May, you can update those. And then July, August is when school starts. Typically for us, it will be in August.
Awesome, thank you. So I like to ask this question of everybody I meet with for these videos, which is just what is a piece of career or life advice you wish someone had given you when you were a student?
I thought about this, and I have so many directions to go with this, but I ultimately decided that I think find a mentor that you admire and do not be afraid to reach out and connect with them, even when you have nothing to talk about. I can't emphasize, I'm doing this currently with a lot of my students that are trying to build their resume for after they graduate. I was like, there's so much power in just FaceTime and to open doors. Like I had a student that met with me and she's like, hey, I really want to get involved more. I have an interest in building my leadership. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have a meeting tonight on the state board for, join me. You could be my student kind of liaison. Just join me, see if you like it. And we'll see if we can continue on, have you continue on the committee. So I think just that FaceTime and building your kind of reputation is tremendous. So I say find that advisor and make regularly scheduled meetings, even if you have nothing to talk about.
That is a great piece of advice. It's also one that I don't think anyone has given yet, so I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really great to have a mentor. We talk about networking all the time. That's one piece of the networking puzzle. Sometimes that one really strong connection can really help you out in a lot of ways. And you never know what opportunities are going to show up if you just ask for them. If you just ask, don't say, can I have a job, please? But, talking to people and seeing how they might be able to help you. And we're all here to help you. Educators, we want to talk with students. We want to help you. We want to find opportunities for you. So great. So finally, if students have any additional questions, how can they reach out to you? Or is there anybody else they should reach out to?
Certainly. So we have an Office of Admissions. There's really a team of 3 of us. For those of you going through the pharmacy school kind of application process, you will undoubtedly meet either Dr. Helen Park out of our Henderson campus or Miss Lisa Stone. But you can contact all of us through this information. It'll all essentially come to our office. We do have a personalized page for you guys here. So feel free to scan this QR code or go to the website. We also are active on social media, and then there is our email and phone number should you need us. And we're happy to answer any questions ranging from help, I don't know what to do, to I want to learn more about touring the campus, or can I speak to a current student, or what is research like? We can really be the liaison for all of that.
Thank you so much. And also, I just want to add, if you are by any chance watching this before March 23rd or March 25th, we are having our career internship and graduate school fair, virtual, of course, this year. And I know that Dr. Christensen Grant will be there as well as a few other representatives. So that's another way you can connect. So if you haven't registered for it, register. They open on March 1st, which I think that'll probably be March 1st by the time this video is up. So Yeah, thank you so much for all of your insight. I really appreciate it. And everyone watching this video, thank you so much for taking the time, for taking a look. Please feel free to check out some of our other videos. I know that there is going to be another video from Roseman University having to do with some of their other programs. So please check that out as well, and check out some of our other videos, and make an appointment with us if you want to learn more about preparing for grad school. So thank you so much, Dr. Christensen Grant. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
All right, bye.